Isn't it crazy how much we can get caught up in our own lives and not realizing how our entire world can change in an instant?
Reports all over the country and even internationally are much the same.
We can't stay in the city.
Come on!
If one of us doesn't make it, you have to keep going.
It's gonna be okay.
We have restored calm to the world under one government, one belief.
He scares me. It scares me too.
Hi, you're watching Movie Guide, and I'm your host, Evie Carroll, and we're here with Randy LaHaye, whose new film is Vanished, the Left Behind series, and you are hoping that this is going to be a series, right?
Yeah, I really believe it will be.
Yeah, and you have a little bit different edge on it than the Kirk Cameron version in the 90s, because this one's more for the teenagers, right?
Yes, and you know, the Kirk Cameron ones 20 years ago were based on the Left Behind adult books. Right. This one is very loosely inspired by the kids' books, meaning we have created a brand new, fresh, young YA version of Left Behind for today's generation.
And why did you kind of want to do it that way?
Well, I feel like we're living in a totally different world with the exponential growth of technology and the geopolitical landscape. I mean, it's changing very quickly. And Left Behind books, they're beloved, they're still relevant today, but kids today, tweens, teens, they have no idea what Left Behind is. You ask them, they have no idea. But what they do know is they love YA movies. Hunger Games, Twilight, Divergent, Maze Runner. So God just kind of put this vision on my heart one day. I was watching Twilight thinking, how can I introduce the Left Behind concept to this generation? And it was like, that's it. You know, all these movies have a dystopian world, a love triangle. Well, the Left Behind original series, it didn't have a love triangle in it, but it had an amazing dystopian world. And so that's what we did. We blended them together, and I can't tell you how excited I am about the cast and where we go from here.
Now, you're telling me that you've kind of had this vision for a long time. Can you talk about the story of telling your grandfather your vision?
Well, I don't think it's any big secret that my grandfather was not entirely pleased with the first Left Behind movie. And we were on a family vacation at Lake Powell, and we were somewhere together. I was 15 years old, and he was telling me the struggles he was having with it and how upset he was with the way it turned out. And I don't know what it was. I had no aspirations of Hollywood or anything, but God just told me, and I threw my arm around him, and I said, Pop, one day I'm gonna make a Left Behind movie you can be proud of.
That's so sweet. And you were 15, right?
I was
so this
15.
was really like a vision in the future.
Yeah, this was over 20 years ago.
And your actors, they already have pretty big followings too. Talk
they
about
do.
finding them.
They've been blowing up, and like it's a total God thing. They were big, they were recognizable, up and coming when we hired them, but since we hired them, they all just kind of exploded. So Amber Montana, now Amber Frank, she changed her name to Amber Frank. She was a big star on Nickelodeon's Haunted Hathaways. And then Mason Dye, who plays one of her love interests, because you know there's the love triangle. Everybody loves a good love triangle. Mason Dye, he was on Finding Carter on MTV and did some stuff on MTV's Teen Wolf, Flowers in the Attic. You know, his sister is actually Tay Dye from Maddie and Tay, the country duo that blew up, you know, Girl in a Country Song. Talented family. And then Dylan Sprayberry, he is now one of the main stars on MTV's Teen Wolf, and he's blowing up. And these kids are rocketing into outer space, and they're our franchise.
Now, obviously, you know, maybe this is partly like you loved your grandfather. He was a mentor, like you were saying. What is it that you love about the Left Behind series that you want to continue it?
So what I love about it is how this story is not just for Christians. You know, like sometimes it's hard to tell the Jesus story without somebody who it doesn't want to hear the Jesus story get turned off right away. They hear Christianese and it's the red flag and they're like, I don't want to hear it. But the Left Behind story, it's relevant because it's the world that we're living in now. And they don't even realize it's a Bible story. And then so they get sucked into the story and then out of it on their own terms. And this is the most important thing. They're sparked to question deeper eternal things in their own lives and learn more about the gospel and who Jesus is.
It's a dark time. Everybody's asking, why am I still here?